Hey guys, Habits here. Just wanted to give you some basic information on Resto Shaman PvP, maybe answer some questions you may have. So let's go ahead and start. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is gemming. The main stat that you want as a shaman is resilience. So your stat priority is going to be resilience, intellect, spirit, and then haste. As you can see in some of my gear, I'm pretty much going for the socket bonus on every single piece. The reason for this is because the socket bonus for healers is almost always good. As you can see, 10 on Alex, there's more resilience. So it's definitely worth going for it. Now, a lot of shamans are wondering why gem resilience. You know, why not go intellect for everything? You can see I have a bunch of 40 resilience rating gems. Now, if anyone knows who Thing 2 is, Thing 2 was the top shaman in the world. He actually had the top 3s team in the entire world. I think he had about a 3100 rating last season. And we actually got a chance to play a 5s team made by him and some of his 3s players. And it was an alt of his on another realm. So, noticing this was Thing 2 and he had a gladiator title and everything on an alt, I logged over there and I just said, "Hey, is this the real Thing 2?" And he said, "Yeah." So my first question was, why are you gemming resilience? Because, you know, I really wanted to know. I wasn't exactly sure why shamans are doing this. He told me, this are his exact words, he said, because shamans get shit on, which is actually pretty true. So definitely go resilience if you can. As you can see, my defense, I have a lot of resilience, 48, 49, and I'm not totally geared yet. But once you start hitting that 5k resilience mark, you could probably swap out like a spirit trinket or something, because you'll just have so much resilience that it'll start becoming worthless because of diminishing returns. Okay, I'm now going to go over the top enchants for shamans. So for your helmet, you're going to want the 60 intellect, 35 resilience gem, or I'm sorry, enchant, which you can acquire at the honor vendor for 1,000 honor points. Your neck, obviously, you can enchant. Your shoulders, you're going to want the 50 intellect, 25 resilience rating, which is also at the honor vendor. Your cloak, you're going to want a 50 intellect enchant. I am poor as fuck, so I cannot afford it at the moment. I'm going to wait until I can get my 403 back piece. Your chest piece, you want to get the 40 resilience. Your bracers, the 50 intellect is the best one. Gloves, you want the 65 mastery rating. There's nothing really better than that. Your belt, obviously get the belt buckle and throw a 40 resilience gem in there. For your legs, you want to get the 95 intellect, 55 spirit, which is acquired through tailoring. Your boots, I actually just got these boots a few hours ago through BH, but you want the 50 hit rating. Now, the reason you want the hit rating is because there's not really any better enchant at the moment. You're going to have to reforge into hit, which I'll explain later, for your hex. So that's the best one to get. Your weapon, you can either go with Heart Song, or you can go with Power Torrent, depending on your spirit and what you're most comfortable with. If you find yourself running out of mana, you might want to go with Heart Song. But if you think that you're dealing with mana pretty well, you can go ahead and get the Power Torrent. Your shield, you're going to want 40 intellect, and that's it. Now we're moving on to reforging. So your stat priority is going to be getting 4% hit, so that you can get your hexes off without them being missed. Then you're going to want to reforge into spirit, and then you're going to want to reforge into haste after that. So you can get that hit rating, like I said, through the boots. That's a big part of your hit, and then just reforging a few things. For your spirit, you're going to have to reforge things like your helmet, which don't come with spirit, your gloves, your legs, things like that. Another thing with the hex is you want to make sure that you buy the spell penetration cape, because if you don't buy the spell penetration cape, you're going to have to gem for spell pen. So it's best to just get the one without spirit on it, and obviously you can't reforge it because you need the spell pen. So if you don't get that spell pen cape, your hexes are going to be getting resisted. If you get it, you don't have to worry about any gems, any enchants for spell penetration, which is well worth it. Okay, now I'm going to go over a pretty basic spec. Restoration Shaman specs kind of differ depending on your playstyle. and you know, what kind of comps you're playing in arenas or whatever. For me personally, I have 1 point in Ancestral Resolve, and mainly the only reason I have that 1 point is because I really couldn't use it in anything else, and I'll explain that later. I have 3 points in Tidal Focus because, hey, not spending a lot of mana is pretty cool. Spark of Life increases healing done by 6% and healing received by 15%, pretty self-explanatory. Resurgence, while your water shield is active, you recover mana and your direct healing spells have a critical effect. You regain 2293 mana from a healing wave or greater healing wave critical, 1300 mana from a healing surge, Riptide, or Unleash Life critical, and 764 mana from a chain heal critical, which just basically just means that you're getting more opportunity to receive mana back after you cast some spells. Totemic Focus reduces the mana cost of your totems by 30% and increases their duration by 40%. The duration part's very nice, but things like your Wrath of Air totem are actually pretty expensive considering it's a totem, so having that talent's very nice. Focused Insight, some healers like to spec into this. I personally don't, because it's basically a choice between Focused Insight and Nature's Blessing, which I'll explain in a minute. Nature's Guardian, whenever a damaging attack brings you below 30% health, your maximum health is increased by 15% for 10 seconds, and your threat level towards the attacker is reduced. It's on a 30-second cooldown. So that's basically just kind of like a last stand increase in health to try to help you in case you're getting low. It's definitely a good talent to spec into for arenas. Ancestral Healing. Your critical heals reduce physical damage taken by 10% for 15 seconds, and your heals increase allies' maximum health by 10% of the amount healed, up to a maximum of 10% of their health. So sometimes I can get people, 20k more health, which is definitely good if they're being trained, and the reduced physical damage taken by 10% by 15 seconds is also very nice when playing TSGs and things like that, because they're taking 10% less damage. Nature's Swiftness. This is a required thing. It's going to make your next nature spell with a base casting time less than 10 seconds become an instant cast spell. So you could just hit Nature's Swiftness and then hit a greater healing wave. It's definitely an oh shit button, I'm about to die. Nature's Blessing. This is the spell that you can choose instead of Focused Insight. I personally like Nature's Blessing more because it's just 18% more healing on whatever your Earth Shield is on, and that's generally whatever's being trained. If I'm playing an RLS and my lock's being trained, I'll throw the Earth Shield up on my lock and he's automatically receiving 18% more heals, which is a huge amount. I don't put any in Soothing Rains because it increases the amount healed by your healing stream totem by 25% and your healing rain spell by 15%. I don't use Healing Rain for arenas because it's a very costly spell and it's not a very powerful one. I think direct heals are way better. And I don't use my healing stream totem. I actually use a Mana Tide totem for RLS and RMS. Improved Cleanse Spirit. Empowers your Cleanse Spirit to also remove a magic effect from the friendly target. You definitely need that talent if you're going to be spelling Mage Novas or Sheeps or Polymorphs or whatever. Cleansing Waters reduces the cost of Cleanse Spirit by 40%, and when your Cleanse Spirit successfully removes a harmful effect, you also heal the target for 5,700. The heal effect can also occur once every 6 seconds. So, my rogue has a Nova on him. He's probably being focused and getting shattered. I dispel one of those Novas off of him, gets him free, and hey, it also throws him a free heal. It's definitely a good spell to get. Ancestral Awakening. This spell is awesome. You definitely need this one. When you critically heal with a single target direct heal, you summon an Ancestral Spirit to aid you, instantly healing the lowest percentage health party or raid target within 40 yards for 30% of the amount healed. For example, let's say my rogue is getting pretty low. I throw a healing wave on him. I heal 10k. It brings him to full health. I know that was kind of stupid, but the 10k brings him to full health. My mage is also coincidentally kind of low. It'll automatically send him a 3k heal if he's lower than the rogue. So it's definitely a good spell because you're casting multiple heals with one spell. When you get a crit, it's great. Mana Tide Totem. Summons a Mana Tide Totem with 10% of the caster's health at the feet of the caster for 16 seconds. Party and raid members within 52 yards of the totem gain 200% of the caster's spirit. So this is just a great mana regen for shamans. I like to throw it out in the beginning when I'm starting to get low mana, like when I start hitting 70 or 60% mana, so that I can use it again when I get extremely low. let's see, Spirit Link Totem. Spirit Link Totem. The totem reduces damage taken by all the party and raid members within 13 yards by 10%. Every 1 second, the health of all the affected players is redistributed, such that each player ends up with the same percentage of their maximum health. So let's say we're playing a TSG and we're playing RLS. TSG is training the Shaman hard. I am at 20% health, right? My lock and my rogue are at 100. I'm out of cooldowns, I've got no nature swiftness, I've got no trinket. I'm in huge trouble. If I drop that Spirit Link Totem and my Shaman, and my lock and my rogue run into it, into the circle, it's going to split our health pools, meaning that my 20% health is going to be divided by their 200% health, which is going to bring us to about 75% health, I believe. Somewhere around there, maybe 60. So it's a huge thing if you're being trained and you need to drop that totem. It'll just split all the health pools. But one thing about Spirit Link Totem is a lot of teams like to go on the Shaman, if they're training like a lock or something in an RLS, they like to go on the Shaman after these kinds of cooldowns are blown, after they have no nature swiftness or they have no Spirit Link, because then they no longer have the ability to save themselves whenever they want. So just make sure you use Spirit Link Totem when you desperately need it. It's a last minute resort cooldown. Tidal Waves. When you cast Chain Heal or Riptide, you gain the Tidal Waves effect, which reduces the cast time of your healing wave and greater healing wave spells by 30% and increases the critical effect chance of your healing surge by 30%. This is a great spell. Let's just say I throw a Riptide on myself. Okay, my greater healing wave is only a 1.7 second cast spell, and my healing surge has, see, I got a crit there. It has a lot more chance to crit. Now, see, I don't have that the Tidal Waves anymore, so look at the cast time of my greater heal. It's 2.5. So I just throw a Riptide out off cooldown, and it'll almost always be a 1.7 cast. By the time I cast those 2 greater healing waves, my Riptide's already off cooldown. So just make sure you're always throwing Riptides out. Even if it's a person who's not being trained, it's just a nice hot that can, you know, if another team makes a swap, it's just nice to have that hot on them in case you're being CC'd. So always keep Riptide up on a target. Okay, so obviously Riptide. It heals a friendly target for 6,000 and another 2,000 over 20 seconds. That is the best spell Shamans have. It's just a nice hot. You can use it along with Unleashed Elements if you don't want to show a cast, if you're being trained. You know, you get a big heal out of it. It's pretty nice. You also get the Tidal Waves effect from it. I spec into Enhancement. Elemental Weapons increases the passive bonuses granted by your Flame Tongue weapon and Earth Living weapon abilities by 40%, the damage of your extra attacks from Wind Fury weapon by 40%, and the effectiveness of your ongoing benefits of your Unleash Elements ability by 50%. So really the only ones you're benefiting from is the Earth Living and the Unleash Elements. Improve Shields. Increases the damage done by your Lightning Shield, increases the amount of mana gained from your Water Shield, and increases the amount of healing done by your Earth Shield orbs. So you're getting 15% more healing on your Earth Shield, and you're also getting 15% more mana on your Water Shield orbs. So those are the two best. Focus Strikes really doesn't do anything for you. Ancestral Swiftness reduces the cast time of your Ghost Wolf spell by 2 seconds, which basically means it makes it an instant cast, and increases the movement speed by 15%. Ghost Wolf is the shit because slowing effects barely work on you, so you can just easily kite people. You know, if you're being trained, you throw down a Earthbind Totem, hit your Ghost Wolf, and you can just take off and then get behind something to start healing without having to worry about interrupts. Totemic Reach increases the range of your totem's effects by 30%. It's kind of nice to have just because sometimes you know, you could throw down your totems and you could be on the other side of the map in the next few seconds trying to heal your party members. So that's about it. Some people do like to go into the elemental the tree. They like to get the reverberation, which is the reduced cooldown on your Wind Shear. I think this is a very good spec for 2s to have the reverberation, because you can control a healer a lot easier, and you don't really have to worry about running as much with just 1 DPS on you. So it's kind of your preference, but if you're running 3s, it's like especially something like an RLS where they like to train the Shaman sometimes, that Ghost Wolf is going to save your ass like 90% of the time, so I would definitely recommend the Ancestral Swiftness spec. So that's about it. Thanks a lot, guys. I hope you learned a thing or two. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll respond in the comments. Subscribe, and thanks a lot.